Welcome back everyone, and this is yet another episode of Pointless Construction and Farms. This is episode number 4. Today I'll be showing you some of the mob grinders, which are actually a lot less pointless, but they are far too small to be built on a normal server. The advantage of this server is, as you can see, there is nothing, anywhere at all, and so mobs can only spawn specifically where we want them to. And the easiest way to do that is to just build a small box which is dark on the inside, and mobs will spawn like crazy, basically. So, this is the first mob grinder. It's very, very simple. All it is a small box which, if we go inside, you'll see is very dark in here. If you seal it back up, it's incredibly dark. Now the way it works is that mobs can spawn on any of these platforms here, and they will walk around happily, and then they'll fall into these water streams. Once they're in, they just can't get out at all. They really can't. And the water will eventually push them down this hole, and they fall, and the impact with the floor there will kill them. Occasionally though a mob survives. I'm not quite sure what causes this, but if it does, it goes down this water stream, and as I'll show later on, any excess mobs will be taken care of. So if we just exit out of this hole here, that's the most basic design, and that design again is replicated in this block here. It's exactly the same design on the inside, just slightly different size dimensions, again with a massive fall going all the way down to a fall kill at the bottom. So those are the two easiest designs. I then basically took this design and thought, okay, well how can we make it more advanced? So I then came up with this idea. This one is, again, very similar. Dark room, very, very dark room. And this allows mobs to spawn on these walkways here. The mobs will happily drop down to a lower level, because it's only a 2-block high drop, but they can't get back up. So eventually all the mobs just slowly work their way down until they get to the bottom levels here. And as you can see, the number of mobs here is absolutely crazy. The mobs spawn in this machine like no tomorrow, and eventually they'll fall into these water streams, which they can't get back out of. As you can see, I can't get out, and they get pushed down onto this central track, and all the mobs just gather up and wait to be harvested. So how do we harvest them? Well, it's quite simple. All that happens is there's a lever here. We pull this lever, and it pulls some pistons and lets all of them out, and they all come flowing down this water and go into a standard lava blade grinder. And all the mobs die. All of their items come through this hole here, as you can see, which falls into this water stream, which takes it down here through a little hole down there and leads back into the main water flow, where all the items on this server eventually flow, such as the cactus farm which I showed you in the previous episode. So that's another design. This one basically allows you to release all the mobs periodically for like a burst of items. The next design that I'm going to show you is the same kind of idea, but this time using a fall trap rather than a lava grinder. This one that we're now hovering around, this brick construction, is again same design, very, very simple. It's just several walkways with water pushing into the centre. This time round though, the hole is protected by a piston hole. So if we push these pistons here, then the hole here becomes sealed, and if we pull the lever again, the seal opens up, allowing the mobs to drop through, and again they just take an enormous fall down this tube, all the way down, and they land in the central tube again, as everything on this server eventually does. So, like I said earlier, sometimes the mobs survive the impact with the water. If they do, there's a lava grinder here which takes care of any excess mobs, filtering all the items down through this walkway into this area which I call the Grand Tube Meeting. This is where all of the items eventually meet together at this intersection. Here's the other mob grinder above, with the mobs dropping all the way down onto here. And again, if any mobs were to survive this, there is a lava grinder here to take care of them. And all the items, as you can see, everything's flowing down here into this collection point, which I will demonstrate how that works in a later episode. So that's the main two. Now this one here is the latest mob grinder that I built, called the Super Grind Tower, as you can see by the amazing text on the front. And this one is a more standard mob grinder which you would find on a survival server. It can be built on a very, very large scale, and it's quite efficient, quite rapid. You see mobs go into these lava grinders here, where they burn, drop their items, which all eventually flow down these little water tubes underneath, which I've put glass in here so that you can see that more clearly. The items all come from 4 different areas. So there's one here, there's one here, there's one on this side, and there's one on the other side there, and they all come together into this central tubing here, which flows underneath and out of the building, and of course comes down here and into the central tunnel again, as do all the items on the server. So, how is the design of this one different? Well, if we come inside, through here, as you can see, oh, it's a little too dark actually, let's give ourselves some light. Okay, this one, again, lots and lots of little thin walkways for the mobs to spawn on. The mobs will spawn and happily take a step down to the next level. They can't then get back up, so eventually they all filter down. And they go down, and then they go down again, and then there's lots of water streams eventually on the bottom level. Just push this creeper in. Push, come on. Whatever, I'll follow myself. The water eventually takes you down and around, and you always end up in one of the corners, which makes you fall down, and here we go to the lava grinder. So it's a rotationally symmetrical pattern, so you have one on each corner, taking the mobs all down. If you were to build this on a much grander scale in a survival server, you can expect quite a decent return of items from this, although probably not as great as some others. Let's just exit here so I can actually see where on earth I am. Of course, you don't want to be inside there at any time due to the enormous amount of mobs in there. The ceiling is covered in glowstone. That's just to stop mobs spawning anywhere. They can only spawn on the inside. So that's most of the different designed mob grinders on this server. We've yet to try out some other designs which I've looked at over the recent YouTube videos, although if I construct them I will be showing how they work, more or less. I won't be giving tutorials, as I simply don't have time, and this video's pretty long enough as it is. So that's the end of episode 4. Look forward to episode 5, where I'll be detailing this construction down here, which is a melon farm. And I'll also be explaining how the final collection tunnel works at the bottom as well. So, see you all next time.